Reminder from the Rockets tonight, they are the higher seed. They won more games during the regular season, and they looked the part tonight in Game 6 to extend their series and force a Game 7 on their home floor on Sunday. The Rockets taken in San Francisco 115-107. This is Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. Matt Weiner, Steve Smith, Isaiah Thomas right over there. Guys, Rockets won 3 of the 4 quarters. They controlled the fourth quarter in particular, even though the score wasn't that lopsided. It wasn't that difficult to win for Houston tonight.
No, they are pretty locked in defensively in what Golden State is trying to do. They've made it extremely difficult for Curry. They've given him different looks defensively, zone, boxing one, man-to-man. And, again, you got to give that coaching staff, Udoka's coaching staff, a lot of credit because they're not giving Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors the same look, right? Sometimes they trap pick and roll. Sometimes they go under. You know, we're in a league now where everybody does the same thing. They switch, and, you know, it's a copycat league. But we got one coach now who's looking at probably got a good chance to be coach of the year. He's saying, I'm going to do something different against Golden State, and I'm going to make adjustments. And what we've seen in this series defensively, Smitty, is that Ime has been able to make the right adjustments and get his team ready to play and win.
And not afraid of trying something different. Steven Adams really hadn't played all season. And the minutes he's played in these last 2 or 3 games has been huge. He's been a difference. They've gone big while the Warriors have gone smaller. And you got to give it credit. They're a young team, but it's the 2 vets, Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams, who have, I think, really changed these series in the last 2 games.
Adams was a plus 15 tonight. He had 17 points per line, and he was making them pay for that strategy while the Rockets continued to make Golden State pay for playing small with Şengün and Adams out on the floor. Sometimes Şengün, Adams, and Jabari Smith out on the floor.
I mean, there are some things where when you watch it as a basketball player, the impact he had. If you just watch Steven Adams on the free throw line, he is burying Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, whether you're getting the offense or getting the offensive rebound or not. But that takes your leg, Isaiah, trying to block out somebody. I mean, he's able to knock down free throws if you want to hack a Steven Adams. Then also he's making plays, he's blocking shots, he's getting away with some veteran pushes and nudges, and he's communicating. Veterans communicate on the floor. He's talking, him and Fred VanVleet. I love that he was ready. Yeah. He may call his numbers, Isaiah.
You know, here's what we've seen 2 nights with coaches deciding to play big as opposed to going small. Gobert has, you know, one of the biggest playoff nights in his history, right? He's bigger than everybody out on the floor. And we got one coach and JJ saying, okay, we're going to play small. And the big guys go, yeah. And they eat them up underneath the basket. Here tonight, right, Golden State is staying small. And Ime goes, okay, I'm going to double down. I'm going to go really big, right? I'm going to play Adams and Senguini, you know, Channing Frye's name. You know, I'm going to play those 2 together. And because of their size, right, and this is what coaches aren't realizing, and as Smitty just pointed out, right? What the big guys have, not only do they have height, but they have weight, right? And those extra 40 to 50 pounds leaning on the small guy, right? Draymond is a strong person, but, you know, playing against Adams, he's giving up 60, 70 pounds. And every time 60, 70 pounds lay on you, right? Your legs get a little tired, you get a little weaker, and by the end of the game, right, you just wear down, and consequently you see the score. At the end of the game, Golden State, those little guys running around, they didn't have any legs. It's not the size, it's the weight that's constantly leaning, and that's where they're wearing them down at.
Ime Udoka and his staff have identified that advantage. They are sticking with it the last 3 games. It's been really impactful to have Adams out on the floor. Here is the Rockets head coach inside Chase Center.
Does this game kind of show the value of having vets like Fred and Steven who can, you know, keep their composure and, you know, really helped put the game away in the fourth.
Yeah, I mean, that's always valuable, of course, but full team contribution. Off night from a few guys, and others came in and stepped up, but yeah, obviously Steven was big as far as with Alpi got some fouls, and then knocking down the free throws and doing what he does defensively, so it all helps, but good to have some vets as well.
Do you believe in like the whole playoff mode thing, and do you think that that's something that Fred has been able to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, I think people, especially veterans, know the urgency of the playoffs, and it gets monotonous at times through a regular season, and so sometimes pace themselves, save themselves for the right moment, and obviously Fred came out not shooting his best, and he's had some really good stretches lately, and so he knows what it is. He's been a champion, been there, done that, and so wouldn't expect anything less than that from him. Coach, in 6 games, you've seen just about every version of this Warriors team. To have that kind of spirit coming down from a 3-1 to tie it up at 3-3, I think that's been a theme for this team all year, but how was it from your vantage point, in this kind of environment tonight? Oh, it was good. It was fine. I think, we knew they were going to come out aggressive, and for us it was do more of the same, more of what we've done. Defense travels, our physicality and our awareness has improved throughout the series, and in general, I think our young guys aren't really fazed by things. They just continue to play through it, and like you guys mentioned, they have really good veterans that steady them at times, and so for us, it was just continue to do what we did to get here. Even in the games that we lost, we didn't play our best. We played the average game at best, and there were some one-possession games, and when we've played good basketball, we've had some blowouts, and so that bodes well, knowing that we can kind of ramp it up there, and if you just have an average or above-average game, you'll be in good shape.
Coach, coming into this game, the previous 2 games, Fred has shot like 67% from 3 or close to it. Do you expect them to continue sort of devoting so much to shutting down Jalen Green and kind of letting Fred do his thing?
Yeah, we talked about that. We like them on the court together for that reason.
Okay.
They put one of the better defenders there, but guys are really setting screens. I think our pace has been better, and so you're getting a lot more freedom and wearing them down a little bit. So we'll see what they do. They've switched lineups quite a bit so far, but at times it feels like they're going for defensive lineups out there, and then offensive, you can only have a little bit of both. And so Fred's been aggressive, picking on that, and if they do adjust with Jalen, he'll have some freedom as well.
You guys really came out swinging in that fourth quarter. What did you like about that sense of urgency that you saw from your whole team?
Yeah, we were a little disappointed, that they won the third by 3. We let them score 36. That's way too high for us, and felt we had opportunities to kind of push the lead up like we did in the fourth. We got to 7 or 8 a few times and lost guys on cuts in our zone, or they got offensive rebound. They had 9 second chance points in that quarter, and so we felt we were right there to kind of cracking it open, and we came out and did that. And after giving up a 36-point quarter, other than the last 10 that some of their third unit got, we held them to 13 in that quarter. So really good bounce back defensive quarter, 1 for 16 at the 4-minute mark, and so did our job there. And then obviously kudos to our vets and Steven for sitting up and knocking down the free throws, and that's where we extend the lead.
Like they've done earlier in the series, they fouled Steven to try to get you to take him out, and you didn't budge. Could you just kind of talk about that chess move and your decision to stick with Steven?
Yeah, I mean, it's time and score situation. We feel, obviously, if you're holding somebody at 1 for 16 and, 4 points or whatever in the first 8 minutes, feel good about our defense. So that's going to sustain regardless of if he made them or missed them, but also helps him get in the rhythm to leave them in. The other night.
Coach, for a long time, we haven't seen teams go zone when Steph Curry's on the floor. Only really box and one has been tried. You came up with this zone. Now it's 2-3, but you have the box and one principles in it. How did y'all come up with that and teach the players that kind of on the fly? As far as I know, I haven't really seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, I mean, it was out of necessity when we started playing our bigger lineups and playing against some teams with small ball. And so we wanted to, protect some matchups there. But the communication is probably even better in our zone than in man-to-man. And obviously we're dominant with our size. We put Jabari at the 3 in a bigger lineup there, and so we don't have a lot of cross matches or mismatches. And have gone to it and saw that it worked. And like I said, I think Alpi and some of those guys are kind of feel some comfort with having Steven and some bigger lineups in there as well. So out of necessity, honestly, not a lot of teams are playing double big lineups, and we like what it does. Our activity up top is great, and then the principles with obviously Curry and recognizing where he is in the zone. It takes a lot of communication, and if you stay with him, we fill the spots behind it.
Coach, there was a period in the fourth quarter you talked about where I think the Warriors missed 15 of 16 shots. What was the key defensively in terms of staying aggressive and staying within that scheme?
Yeah, locating Curry was a big part. Giving up the shots that we wanted to the guys, and we knew if we rebounded better than we did in the third quarter, we limit them to one shot, we get out and run. They did some of the fouling, so they got into the bonus early and kind of slowed the pace down where we could set our defense as well. And like I said, Steven knocked those down. But I think our awareness on Curry, our communication, sometimes you have two on them and everybody else has to scramble, but if they're going to play certain defensive lineups, they're going to have some weak links offensively out there that will live with the shots, and that paid off tonight.
Coach, with games 3 and 4 in this building, we're pretty emotional. A lot of after the whistle stuff. Seems like that stuff is kind of gone away now. You guys have just played basketball these last couple of games. Is that something you guys talked about just as a group, just to cut out the extracurricular stuff and just play?
Yeah, well, it was a mantra going into the series. It was play through everything. It's going to be a physical game. Don't ask for anything. We want to be physical. So if the refs allow it, or that's how the style of the game is played, that favors us more often than not. And so, yeah, I think guys are past that point. There was some chippiness a few times here and there, but it seems like it's the norm every now and then in this game, in this series. And so I think guys are past that. They don't understand what's on the line and what to play through, and if they don't, I kind of remind them.
Why do you think this communication is better in zone?
Because you're matching. You don't have a man or a matchup. You have to more so cover an area, and obviously you want to recognize where certain players are as well. And so, it forces you to talk. You should do it in man-to-man with some of the switches as well, but there's less hesitation, and it does take them out of some of their sets as well. So